300K. Welcome to Montana Madness. For 300K. For 300K. 300K. Welcome to Montana Madness.
Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends, and welcome back to another episode of Montana Madness. The hunt for 300,000 damage continues. I know it's been a couple of weeks since we did one, but here we are. We're back. And I've got a couple of nasty games for you guys. Fun ones, too, believe it or not. It was actually tonight wasn't that bad of a night. The biggest issue that I had tonight was that the games didn't tend to last all that long. But I was having some pretty solid games. I really only had 2 bad games all night. And other than that, I really can't complain. Which is rare. But yeah. Ran into a couple of good folks tonight as well. This was my very first game of the night, by the way. The first game that you're going to watch here is my first game of the night. So little bit rusty, but we get in there and you know what we do. We do the best we can to give the team the best possible chance to win, right? As well as try to put up 300,000 damage. But I enjoy this series. This is one of my favorite series I've ever done. Just because it's just jump in a ship, have a good time, try to do as much damage as possible, and whatever happens, happens, right? You never know if you're going to hit the mark. I've gotten close a few times. We haven't quite pulled it off. Will today be the day that we pull it off? Well, you'll have to stay tuned to find out, won't you? But we got a double feature episode. We got 2 games for you guys. We got this first one, which was literally first game of the night. Somebody will be like, well, Spartan, if you played more games after that, you clearly didn't get to 300K, did you? Well, how do you know that, Sunshine? Maybe I just like to keep going. If I get the best game right out the gate, maybe I just keep on a trucking. You don't know me. You don't know me. Anyway, we get our first shot out. We get 13K. Not a bad shot. Unfortunately, Howden's going to get away before we get a chance to shoot at him. And we're going to try to put ourselves in a good position out here on the edge. Now, one of the things you probably already noticed... Oh, hello, Meteor. I hate how the, zoom in from one phase to the next is so much different. It makes it so hard to aim at destroyers. But we do manage to hit him with 3 shells, taking a good chunk off of him. That's going to allow our destroyer and our cruiser to be able to take him out, hopefully. We are going to take some damage here, unfortunately, and of course he gets a Citadel. The Montana we knew was out there. We got a couple of Montanas. One of them was the one that we shot over on the right. He's going to head our direction, but we also had this JAC guy. Anytime you see those guys, you usually got to keep yourself on your toes. There are a few fleets out there that I see, and I'm like, okay, generally good players, so gotta keep yourself in there. And JAC is one of those fleets. Rarely do I ever see them in a game where I'm like, they really didn't do anything, right? So just one of those fleets, right? But as the destroyer goes down, I start to push in. Now you'll notice that the Montana that we hit earlier for 13,000 is starting to push over into our AO. So we got to keep that in mind. Notice how low he is. I want you guys to keep an eye on that guy because he's low, and we're going to try to get rid of him. Catch him coming around the corner. He's right on the edge of our range, but he's sailing into our range, so I just let auto-aim do auto-aim things and hope for the best here. And we get a good shot over the mountain. Looks beautiful, and we slap the man. But, of course, he's still got about 15,000 hit points left. So our team is trying to throw real hard. Like, our team has already lost 3 people, and it's not going to get better anytime soon. So I'm hoping to turn the tide by helping the team get rid of this Montana. And you can see, I mean, Guy is begging for it. Unfortunately, I managed to shoot the ever-living out of that island. Not ideal. If I'd have waited just a little bit longer, that Montana goes down here. But unfortunately, I leave him with just enough to continue being a problem. And now I know that I have to be careful here because we've got a Montana on my right and a Montana on my left. So I can't go broadside to either of them. Now, given the fact that that Montana just went around the island, I felt pretty confident that I can go over here and start to turn out and get into a kiting position. I was wrong. That Montana got a couple of shells around that island and slapped me. I got very lucky he didn't do more. But here, we saw the Montana go ahead and take his shot, so we're going to go ahead and get a full salvo away, hit his superstructure hard, and didn't quite get the result we wanted, if I'm being honest. Was really, really needing a good, solid superstructure hit there. But here we are broadside as ever in this thing, and this is not ideal. But I'm hoping that he shoots me and not my cruiser, right? Like, I can take the shot. I've got heals. It's not that big a deal. I want him to shoot me here, and he takes the bait. So we go ahead and we aim up the side of the ship. We've got an Arthas ready as well, just in case, and we take all the damage, and he leaves our cruiser alone, which is perfect. Now, I don't know if our cruiser was even spotted at that point. I just assumed he was, so I would much rather my teammate not get shot there than me. I'm the battleship. I have the armor. It's much easier for me to take that hit. Now, Montana takes a shot at me again, and you can see he's right on the edge of my range, so unfortunately, I don't think that I can lob far enough to hit him. So instead of even trying, I just go ahead and start looking back. You can see Shima's coming in. We've got our destroyer right there ready to eat him alive. I think it's a vampire that's on our team. So we go ahead and take a shot at this Shima, and we are going to get a nice chunk on him. But, of course, we leave him just enough for our teammate to get the kill, which is fine with me. Vampire does his thing. Unfortunately, I think the vampire actually goes down to torpedoes here. I could be wrong. But as we start to turn back around, we're going to try to put ourselves in a position to intercept the enemy team. Now, one thing I want you to keep an eye on is the destroyer that's right next to me. I'm not talking about the vampire. I'm talking about the other destroyer, the one that just showed up out of nowhere and is right off the right side of my ship. This guy, this guy is going to be essentially non-existent for our team. Like, I don't know what he's doing. But our vampire, unfortunately, does get clapped up pretty hard here. I don't know if he ate a torpedo or if he got shot. There's a couple of ships in the middle of the map over there, Howden and stuff like that. So I don't know if which happened, but we're going to try to get shots at the Howden. The Montana was finally killed by our cruiser, which is great. And I thought I was going to slam this Howden here. I'm not going to lie. But unfortunately, we get just a little bit of chip damage. Nothing major. But our destroyer that's here next to me needs to take this moment to be the guy going out and spotting for the team. And you can see we got Wassa on our team here too. I think it's Farah. Farah's a player that I run into quite a bit actually. Another one of those players that I know that they're a decent player, so I know that I can kind of count on them, right? It's weird when you get into matches with people that you run into quite often because you know what you can expect out of them. Whether it's a good thing or a bad thing is left to be deceived or be determined. But in this case, the people that I've run into in this match, whether it be the JEC guy on the enemy team or this Wassa guy over here on our team, we know what they can do, right? We know what they're capable of. So I'm less inclined to like be in a situation where I'm not relying on them. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what the word I'm looking for there. Like I'm less inclined to be in that situation where I'm like I have to do everything when I have other people that I know are competent players. That's where I was going with it. But speaking of competent players, our second destroyer decided he wanted to, trade some paint. Maybe he liked the black paint scheme and he really wanted his destroyer to be somewhat black as well. Can't blame him. Black makes everything look better. But if you could, just maybe go out and spot and do things for the team. But you can see our cruiser here is going to try to put himself behind an island. Perfect. He's also got the airstrikes. So it's at this point that I start to try to put myself at the front, right? Like I've been kind of chilling around it. I've, put myself in danger when I needed to, but to try to save hit points from teammates. But at this point, knowing what we're up against, Hindenburg, Mino, Grossaker first, and a Yama, I'm much more about trying to get up into the front try to spot everything that tries to shoot me. My teammates will be able to take advantage of it. And at that point, like, I feel pretty good, right? Now, we are spotted, so we got to keep an eye. We know that the enemy battleships were on my right. Mino gets spotted right off our bow. Of course, he's going to go ahead and hit the smoke screen and try to hide. We got torpedoes coming in from the Mino as well. But you can see Hindenburg is absolutely begging for it. This man's... he beached himself going one direction. We didn't finish him off, but you ain't getting out of this one. Good night. Boop. And down he goes. Now, up to this point, we really haven't had a crazy game or anything like that. We only got 79,000 damage. We're into the wee hours of the morning at this point. Like, the game is almost over. Very little damage has been done. So you're probably thinking to yourself, well, Spartan, if you haven't done that much damage, why include this into Montana Madness? I enjoyed this game. It was a lot of fun. But it gets better. It does get better. We're about to assert why my Montana is a threat to absolutely everybody. Not only did we take down that Hindenburg, but watch the shot as we start looking at targets of opportunity, folks. Something else that I talk about a lot is targets of opportunity. Why is that? Because a lot of people get so tunnel-visioned and shooting one person who maybe bow in that they miss out on broadside opportunities like the Kurfürst out there when we hit that man for 20,000 damage. I don't know why I said 30,000, but 20,000 damage, and puts us right up to 100,000 almost perfectly. Yama decides to come around. He is full broadside trying to get behind that island. We're going to go ahead and lead the shot, try to slap him on his way behind the island as well. And Montana going to do what Montana do. And he's lucky he didn't just get depth struck. But we give him a little passing grade. In 2 salvos, we just doubled our damage, essentially. That's how quickly this ship can turn the tide, right? Like, people don't realize, this is why I like battleships so much. It's just because 1 or 2 salvos, it can completely change the outlook of a game. And this Kurfürst, again, just looking at targets of opportunity, understanding that I'm going to have a shot over that mountain, through that gap, ready to hit that freaking Grosse Kurfürst again. And look at this shot coming over the mountain. Another 23,000 plus damage. Just absolutely slapping that Grosse Kurfürst for even considering to be a threat. And unfortunately for him, he's also going to eat a face full of torpedoes, I believe. You can see some of those are coming in. But he's also pushing past the island to the point where I am able to hit him one last time and finish him off. And that's when we see the Yamato coming around the corner. We've got the Mino here as well as we get the kill on the Grosse Kurfürst. That puts us up to 171,000 damage. Mino around the corner here. I got to be careful. I don't just want to run straight into a face of torpedoes, obviously. But we've got the Yama here, and Yama is absolutely begging for it. Now, I thought Mino was going to come out, so you can see I'm always prioritizing the Mino here, and there's a reason for that. It's because he's the bigger threat to me. Yama is not really a threat, but we get a beautiful shot into the superstructure there. Secondaries actually set a fire on him as well, but I think our teammate takes him down. I could be wrong. He's healing. I don't know if he's got will to rebuild or if he just happened to get a heal off, but he's going to continue being a little bit of a problem. There we go. Montana on the right finishes him out. And that's when the Mino is all alone. We have 189,000 health, or 189,000 damage. We got 65,000 hit points. The likelihood that he dev strikes me before I kill him at this point is slim and none. And we've got Arthas ready, so we go ahead and fire the guns, get Arthas, and down he goes. You're just not going to your torps are never going to outrun those guns. They're just not. So you're done at that point. But solid game, came out, 216,000 Confederate high caliber dev strike, top of leaderboard, over 3,200 base XP. Solid game for everybody in that core group there, the Destroyer and the Vampire. I think it was Farah. Our other player that was in the Howden did a really good job. And then, of course, all the folks that were on the enemy team that we played against as well. There was some good players in that lobby, so that was a lot of fun. That's why I wanted to showcase that particular battle, because that was just a fun, close game. Could have went either way. Couple of big hits late in the game made a huge difference. This one, this one's gonna be something special, y'all. Are you guys ready? You have not seen a Montana game like this. I promise. This is one of those for the books, folks. Now, a lot of you guys probably going like, oh, Spartan just trying to bait us now. He just wants us to keep watching. Well, yeah, duh. But I promise you, this one's going to be one of those games. So don't give up on me, is all I'm saying. No matter what you see, do not give up on me. That's all I ask. But we're going to go ahead and try to push off to the right side, and my team is going to do everything in their power to throw this game immediately. I'm not joking. Specifically the cruisers in this game. And you can see there are a lot of them. Now, we don't have any destroyers in this lobby, which is usually a good thing for most people. But it usually turns into an absolute crap show. Or, I'll just go ahead and say it. It turns into a shit show. It really does. Every single time we get a lobby like this, because people don't know what to do if they have to spot for themselves. They're so used to destroyers spotting everything at the beginning of a match, nobody knows what to do. And so what you end up with is a lot of people just sitting around waiting. And that's bad. I say this a lot. Very few instances are you going to want to be stationary in, especially a cruiser, but in any ship. You don't want to be stationary because you're allowing the enemy team, to get an advantage in positioning. If you're not moving, the enemy is getting a position. Now, I'm not going to lie, this shot irritated me. I shot a little early trying to get it around the island, and unfortunately those are all ghost shells because they clipped the edge of the island. Sadness. Absolute sadness. Now, if you've ever had that happen, that's a bug that's been around as long as a tale as old as time, right? It's been around forever. They can't fix it. There's nothing they can do about it. It does the same thing on PC. But basically what happens is you fire the guns a little too soon, and instead of impacting the island, they pass through the island, which renders the shells null because the game recognizes those shells should have hit the island. And so they just splash, and they'll look like they splash inside the enemy ship and stuff like that. That's a ghost shell. If you guys ever heard anybody talk about a ghost shell. But that's why it happens. It literally is when you shoot through the edge of an island and they don't explode for whatever reason, it'll just nullify the shell and you just get to see it. But there we get a beautiful shot, 25,000 damage into that beautiful superstructure. And I want you guys to keep an eye on how long this Michelangelo has to set up his attack. Okay? Michelangelo's a fantastic cruiser. All that's over there is a, what was it, GK? It's either GK or Prusen. I can't remember. And then the Howden. That's it. That's all that's there. He burns his smoke screen behind an island for no reason, drops his torps in the gap, and then he's just going to park there and wait. Now, there's a reason I say being stationary is a bad thing, and, you know, being in a ship that is known for being dev-struck, you really don't want to be stationary. The Michelangelo is actually incredibly tanky if used correctly, and those secondaries are a problem. Not to mention, the guns are solid, and it has torpedoes, right? Problem is, it's also very easy to kill in certain situations. You get that thing's broadside, you can send it to the Shadow Realm. You may take a couple of torpedoes doing it, but generally speaking, it's a trade I can take usually. But and also they're Italian torpedoes, so they're a little bit slow. But you can see the Gross Kurfürst is not slowing down. He is still pushing forward. And this is where, as a cruiser player, you can see he is bow into the threat, right? He's bow into the threat. You can see I'm being shot at by the Worcester. The Republik, I think, took a shot at us. The Gross Kurfürst and the Howden are all trying to target me, which is normal. I don't have a problem with that. I can mitigate a lot of damage, and you can see I'm trying to spot for myself, and it looks like Gross Kurfürst has finally decided to stop. We're going to slap the superstructure for him thinking that he can just sit there, and we go ahead and use the Arthas button as well, so we get a little bit of chip damage extra for our trouble. Now, up to this point, we've only got 44,000 damage, and you're probably thinking, well, Spartan, why are you kiting so far away? There's a lot of firepower there. There's the Republik in the middle. He's got a crossfire set up if I were to push in. They've got the Howden. He has the airstrikes he can drop on me. You got the Kurfürst, and, you know, his tankiness plus his secondaries, that can be a problem. And, of course, he comes around the corner and just yeets our Michelangelo for his trouble. We slap him, knocking out a turret temporarily, and really get a good hit on him. But you can see that I'm not playing around with this. I already know how this is going to go. I'm going to have to carry my backside off. Because if you look at the positioning of the people around me, there's really only one other person here, and it's a Janan. The Janan is sitting in a smoke screen as everybody's pushing towards him. There's a radar cruiser there. There's 2 battleships in the neighborhood. Plus, there are 2 other cruisers. So it's not an ideal scenario, and you can see the airstrikes are coming in for the Jinan smokescreen as well. Just because you're in a smokescreen doesn't mean that you're invisible. I know that sounds silly, but it's true. You fire your guns, we know where you're at, roughly. And from an airstrike perspective, we really know where you're at. So if he's just sitting there holding the airstrike button over your smokescreen and you start firing your guns at a battleship or something, then he can easily drop bombs on you. And not only that, at some point, these guys are going to get you spotted. And if you're stationary, you're screwed, right? You're in a very, very lightly armored cruiser that is easy to send to the Shadow Realm. You don't want to wait for the enemy to catch you. Plan ahead. But as you can see, another massive hit into the superstructure. This is why we laugh at GK. Like, it's really not a threat. Unless you're broadside to the GK, it's not a threat.
The ship is on fire.
Like, you just farm the superstructure for days. The same thing with the Preußen. I love the Preußen, but the superstructure is just, it eats pins everywhere. 20k salvos into the superstructure, and it never seems to ever get saturated. Not to mention, you got the random citadels that you can sometimes hit while shooting at superstructures too. But look at the damage. 3 back-to-back salvos of just absolute murder on that man's on his superstructure. That is what I'm talking about with this thing. Now, I want you to pay attention to the other cruiser that we haven't mentioned yet. That is the Alaska that's right up here off of my 2 o'clock. He's been sitting behind that island this whole time. And he's broadside as crap. And he's lost all of his health doing it. Again, stationary cruisers.
Problem solved, sir.
He wasn't overmatched by anybody. Right? Repub doesn't overmatch him. GK doesn't overmatch him. He's got 32 millimeters of armor, just like I do.
Returning to ship.
And yet, well, I guess there's Yama over there. He overmatches him. I stand corrected. But he hasn't really been an issue up to this point. But sitting stationary, you're just begging for people to slap you, right? Especially sitting stationary and broadside. But you can see as I try to get shots on this Howden, I'm not willing to take a bad shot, right? Like, I want to get the big shot or nothing on that guy, because as soon as I fire my guns, I'm being shot at by a Repub and a Yamato who have my broadside. So I want to make sure that if we're going to get a shot, it's got to be a good one, because I'm going to get hit back, right? And at this point, we're in trading stage. Like, every shot that we take, we have to make sure is a good trade. I don't want to lose unnecessary hit points because we're up against it. And the reason I keep shooting at that Howden there is to keep him at distance. If he wants to shoot his guns at me, that's fine. I don't want his airstrikes, so I'm trying to stay far enough away from that Howden that his airstrikes aren't an issue. Right? I believe it's 12 kilometers or 12 and a half kilometers, something like that. So as long as I stay outside that, he can't hit me with his little parachute bombs. And we're going to be able to chunk him every time we shoot at him, because we overmatch basically his whole ship except for his armor belt. And if he stays bow in, I can chunk him all day. Just got to get some good salvos. And we've not had the best salvos, other than on the GK. We really haven't had that great salvos that you know and love out of the Montana. But you're going to see here as we get a shot at this Yama. Yama's just, he does not even notice that I'm here. Like, he should know I'm here. I've been spotted multiple times, but he just goes full broadside to us. But unfortunately, Jinan, you're caught. And again, this is what I was talking about with just sitting there waiting to die. Like, stationary cruiser is a dead cruiser. You don't want to be just sitting there. But as the Yamato gets ready to go behind the island, we are going to get our guns loaded. We go ahead and rush the shot. We've got this on Arthas as well. And I probably should have aimed this one up a little bit, because penetrating the thickest part of the armor at this range is not as likely as you'd think. I'm going to get damage, but I'm not likely to Citadel him. So in this case, it'd probably be better for me to aim a little bit higher. I have Citadel Yamas, but it's very sporadic. And usually I think it's because the shells tend to come in a little bit high and go over the thickest part of the armor, pinning through the deck or upper side plating and down into the Citadel. That's where I tend to, I think, Citadel Yamas at range with the Montana instead of shooting at waterline. But I digress. Our team is going to fall apart real fast. You can see that the enemy has a 200-point advantage, so we don't have the luxury of just continuing to kite here. We've got to take it to the enemy. And unfortunately, our team is going to throw here at this point. Like I said, they're just going to fall apart real quick. You got a battleship over there up against a couple of cruisers, point blank. I don't know if they've got torpedoes or whatever. Yeah, it looks like Carl. Carl goes down to the Dalian, unfortunate as it is. Hopefully Carl got his torps away, but it doesn't look like it because the Dalian lives. But we're going to try to hit the superstructure of the Yama. We know that they're repub is coming as well. And I want you guys to pay attention to what I do next. And this is the difference between understanding like your ship versus everybody else's. Who are your threats? To me right now, Yama hasn't shown himself to be a threat. While it's a good ship, I'm usually not afraid of a Yama because of my ability to just send them straight to the Shadow Realm at a moment's notice given the opportunity. So I use the front guns to shoot at the repub's broadside. I think I do hit the Arthas button. And then I get ready to shoot the Yama. Okay, I do shoot the Yama here. I was going to say, I get ready to shoot the Yama, and then the little turd waffles drop an airstrike. You can see just how much of a problem these airstrikes actually are once he finally gets to use them. This is why I was trying to avoid that guy and stay at range, but eventually you have to go in. Like, we have to go in. We're going to lose on points, so I've got to make some big moves real fast. You can see as the repub's coming in, we're going to get another shot with the front guns on him, and then I get ready to target the Yamato, and then obviously even better, the Howden shows himself. We pick up the high caliber at 187,000 damage. The rear turrets get out there, and we get a single hit. Like, dude is this dude in the Howden needs to say his, I don't know, go play the lottery or something, because this man has been living on borrowed time for a while. The amount of Howdens I've sent to the Shadow Realm in the Montana that have just sat either broadside or reversed in or bow in. Like, I can Citadel that thing straight through the front and the back. He's gotten real lucky so far, and he's over angled too. But you can see I'm not aiming for his armor belt. I know he's got an armor belt. I'm aiming for the part that I overmatch. But you can see I'm aiming for him and not the Yama. Why is that? Well, we already killed the repub. I know that I can kill this Yama in one shot. You can see he's got about half his hit points. And unfortunately, we only have the one gun to do it because they knocked out one of our turrets. But it doesn't matter. We only need one gun. And we get 3 shells, 3 citadels straight through the cheek. That is why I don't care about Yamas. I can just eat them up. But unfortunately, Howden's, these stupid airstrikes are awful. But you can see we tried. We put up a heck of a fight. Unfortunately, it just didn't have quite enough. But 256,000 damage. We're getting close, folks. We keep knocking on the door. We just need a couple more good salvos in a game, and we'll hit that 300K. But top leaderboard, 1,800 base XP and a loss. Not too shabby. Let me know if you guys are still enjoying the Montana Madness, and if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.